Fresh as a Daisy, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures from right here in the Impact Power Sports Studio. Impact Power Sports online at impactpowersportsmi.com. They are awesome over there. You can get a Yamaha golf cart. You can get an ATV. You can get a motorcycle. Nick in the arena has all of these great products in his hard living line bunker. And you can take advantage, too. They're also in Rockford, Michigan. Of course, Impact Power Sports along 14 Mile Road. Fantastic day. I don't know. I'm just saying that. It's like hyperbole. It's not really that great. It's been kind of rough weather, especially north of the hard living line. And I am an anxious little bugger about what the property looks like at Fair Bunker North, which is right smack dab in the middle of this ice storm catastrophe that happened up there. And it's just downright ugly from what I'm told. And so I am going up north this weekend to be at a casino. It is called Odawa Casino in Petoskey, Michigan. So if Michigan's shaped like a mitten, it's right near the top of that area. And after that, I'm going to, either before or after that, I'm going to head over to the property to see. I just got my fingers crossed that the damage from all of the ice on the trees isn't too extensive. You know, I can handle some of it, you know, clearing it out and removing the trees that have fallen. But then I also have to be careful because the crews there are dealing with down power lines. So I have to keep my eyes on, like, the power poles to make sure that nothing has fallen off of those things, because that could be an absolute disaster. So I'm really anxious to see how it looks up there. Knowing me, it'll all be for naught. I really got to get behind that thing of, why are you worrying? Why do you worry about things? It doesn't do anything but make you upset. And I've gotten better at it, but even last night I was freaking out. I've been freaking out the last 2 nights, and this only happens at bedtime. I've talked about this again during the day when I'm moving, I'm out and about, or working here. I never have a goddamn problem. I'm just working, focusing on the things I need to get done in my own little world here. And then the second that I stop, my brain tries to convince me. And I've talked about this countless times on this show. And not once has anything that I have worried about ever come true. Ever. Never, ever. But in my fucked up brain, I'm like, oh, God, this is going to happen. And you're like, easy, what do you worry about? It's like, I don't know. It's boring about what I worry about. That's not important. The fact of the matter is I'm worried. I'm constantly like, oh, no. If this doesn't happen and this doesn't happen, in 3 or 4 months, I'll have this happen, and then this will happen, and then, oh, my God. So it's usually centered around money. I'm not going to lie. So last night, I popped an emergency pill. And I don't necessarily like to pop the emergency pill because it just takes the longest time to get moving. I don't know. It just does something to my brain to get me to go to sleep. And then I wake up and then I'm cool, you know? But that medicine, fuck. It makes it so hard to get going. Like, I'm sitting here getting ready to get the broadcast going for the radio show on Q100 in northern Michigan, which, by the way, it's still just internet only because something has happened. It has to do with all the ice storm that happened up there. And it's a disaster up there. I mean, it's not getting better because now the wind is blowing. The trees aren't yet done thawing out. There was so much ice on those trees. It's taking forever. And trees are still falling now. Stevie points out, think of all the sticks you'll have to pick up in the spring and summer. How exciting for you. Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I just hope that nothing fell on the structures that I have there. And I just hope that there isn't any power lines down. And even if there is, I mean, they'll take care of it, the crews. I don't know, man. I'm just kind of fucking freaking out. Molly here, who's turned into kind of like an asshole. I start the show at 10, and the opening theme is running, and then as I start it, I go tinkle. And then I come back, and she's like, he's late, and the music ran out. Look, I don't jump, okay? I'm not a goddamn monkey for you, woman. Shut up. Jesus Christ. You're late. You're not going long enough. I don't like this. Fuck. You're going to wind up on the outside looking in with that attitude. Fuck me. Shut the fuck up. I'm not in the mood for it. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to read that. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Anyway, off and running on this edition of the show. Kid Rock went into the Oval Office. Did you see this? Ugh. Okay, I'm trying to pay attention to the message. Trump wants to sign an executive order so that if there's a concert coming to town, someone cannot go and buy the tickets and then charge more for the tickets. Now, how often have you dealt with that? So you go to buy tickets and it's all sold out. And then the only thing you can get is aftermarket or secondary market tickets. So I guess Kid Rock is bummed out about that. And he had been looking to Trump to sign an executive order. First of all, let me get to this story. I'm kind of going in the wrong order here. Kid Rock was there, and Bill Maher was there too. Let's check this out.
All right, Bill Maher may be one of President Trump's most vocal critics, but that didn't stop him from getting an invitation to dinner at the White House last night.
So how did it go? Music superstar Kid Rock arranged it all, and he joins us now. Good morning.
Music superstar. I don't know if that's a term you can use for Kid Rock these days. He basically is doing pig gigs and barbecues and county fairs these days.
Morning to you.
Good morning, kids.
Good morning.
And he looks like
tell
shit
us what happened.
now. I've talked about how I'm aging dramatically in front of your eyes regularly. Like if you were to look at me from just a few years ago, my face is completely different. And Bob Ritchie and I are the same age, but Bob Ritchie, he's aging in a way that one of his eyes is starting to look the other way.
To finish in 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds, I went on Bill's show. I went on his podcast, and I said, man, nothing happens if people don't break bread together and meet face to face. He's been one of the president's hardest critics, and we came to dinner, me, Bill, Dana White, and and it could not have been better. Everyone was so surprised, so pleasant. The most shocking thing to me was, Bill's obviously a very big liberal, been very hard on the president, but He's donated a lot of money to other politicians. You know, you've had Biden, Clinton, Obama, everybody. He had never been to the White House, and the president was so gracious. He took us up to the private residence. We saw the Gettysburg Address in the Lincoln bedroom, and I was like, "You've never been here, Bill?" And I was like, "How about this, President Trump? You know, extending this olive branch and we talked about things we had in common. You know, ending wokeness. You know,
All right, I'm gonna stop right there. Ending wokeness. So I guess Bill is like, we have to end wokeness. Bear in mind, wokeness, the definition of that has changed. I don't understand why Bob Ritchie, and I don't understand why Bill Maher would have something against wokeness, unless if that's been bastardized. Is that true? I don't know. I always thought that being woke was being cognizant of other people's feelings, taking into consideration the feelings of others. That's what I thought wokeness was. But I think that that's been changed to something else, which that happens all the time with people like Bob Ritchie and Trump.
You know, securing the border. You know, the president was asking him what he thought about policy, you know, going on with Iran and Israel and things. It just meant, it blew my mind. It was,
Right.
I was, you know, very, very proud.
Bob, do you think he walked away liking him? Because, you know, Trump is the type of person that you got to meet him to understand.
There's no way that this black guy feels good about his life right now, being a shill on Fox News.
100%. Me and Dana both said there's never been
Dana
this
White.
ever.
Dana White is one of the biggest pieces of shit on the planet. I've never understood why anybody wants to be associated with that fucker. That's the guy who at the bar was smacking the shit out of his wife, like left and right and left and right. To me, that guy's canceled. I mean, you can't be dropping Dana White's name, for God's sake.
Ever met the president and any snare that's walked away without saying like, wow, what a great guy. He's so funny, so engaging. He's so smart.
He's acting, asshole.
And absolutely, Bill even said to me, you know, after that, he goes, wow, that was, you know, everybody's mind was kind of blown. Even the president's, I think, because the president called me late night last night and, you know, everyone was a little suspect about going into this. And even the president kind of alerted to me a little bit like, what do you got me doing?
Right.
And I go, man, we're just trying to show people that, you know, even though we've been pretty hard on each other, that when you get face to face, maybe we could have a little more civility in this country and try to bring people together.
He looks like a member of the SS, Kid Rock.
And
That
Bobby,
was my whole intention.
you know, that was so important because so many people now are in their own little silos and they don't even talk to the people across the street because they voted for somebody else. You showed that two
Right.
of the biggest, most vocal people on both sides of the aisle can break bread, have a good time, and ultimately, I'm sure you took a bunch of pictures.
We did. Well, we kind of checked our phones. You know, the president put his phone on a table, and he said, everybody, you know, and the guys kind of took ours, and the White House took some pictures,
His hat says Kid Rock, I'm an American badass.
which I'm sure they'll put out at some
What
point,
a
because I can't
douche.
wait to have one of those. I was clowning around the White House all day, taking pictures in the bowling alley and this, and running around in my flashy, as your son called it, Peter, in my get shot out of a cannon suit. That was funny.
Evil Knievel like.
So you did this, you set this up. Do you sense that anything will change with Bill Maher's show from here? Because I think he's been very fair, to be honest, out of all those shows. What do you think?
That's my hope that, you know,
He'll change his show, and that's what you hope. What's wrong? There's nothing wrong with Bill Maher's show. First of all, he's a goddamn comic. The point of Bill Maher's show is to make people laugh. So you're expecting him to change his show because he got together and broke bread because we have to eat and talk before we get. Fuck you.
You know, and God bless Bill too for. He even said going into this, he goes, because I go, Bill, I know, you know, some of this Hollywood stuff, it would be great for you to get thrown out, and it'd probably be good for you to double down and be like, you know, I can't stand this guy. And he goes, Bob, I'm not gonna sabotage something that potentially could bring us and other people together, you know, just to show that, you know, that
Nice.
family member that you kind of
I don't know. I mean, I get it. But what I find ridiculous is now that the Republicans and MAGA fucking far-right wackos like this psychopath are feeling good about life and taking a victory lap. The idea that they just go, well, let's be friends now. Now it's time to be friends. You didn't want to be friends when you were on the losing end of things. Shut the fuck up. Nobody's buying this, you piece of shit.
Divided with over politics, or that person at the school when you drop your kids off that you know is a left-wing person, and you're like, that maybe we'll just, hey, we can find things we haven't.
This is from the guy who shot Bud Light cans with a fucking machine gun or whatever the fuck.
And it gets so easy to go on social media, and one thing we learned through COVID.
Yeah, don't preach to me. Fuck you. This guy's an asshole. Why was he there? He was there because they were signing some stupid fucking thing about it. I don't know how stupid this is. This is Trump signing the executive order, and then Kid Rock wearing this ridiculous bit of stage clothes.
There he is. Cool jacket. What's up, Pete? Peter, ask him a lot of questions.
Talking to Peter Duke. So this is an executive order that I'm guessing that Kid Rock said, this is what you got to do. Because Trump's not interested in this shit. He doesn't give a fuck. Look, he's bored.
You all set? So it's an honor to have you back. A friend of mine, Kid Rock, sometimes referred to as Bob. I know him as Bob, but he's been a good friend for a long time, many years, and he's been after something that is for the good of a lot of people, including
Bob Ritchie basically wrote the executive order here.
In particular, the public, and having to do with ticket sales and scalping and all of the gouging that you have been reading about. That's gotten worse and worse with time. And I didn't know too much about it, but I checked it out, and it is a big problem. And I thought, I think you've been trying to get this done for 20 years or something. He said Trump got it done in 2 weeks. But we came up with a very serious EO, and I'm going to sign it now, and maybe I'll ask you, Will, to explain a little bit about it, please.
Of course, sir. So this is an executive order, as you said, that deals with the ticket reselling business. For fans of live entertainment and for entertainers as well, the ticket reselling industry has become a huge issue. These people use bots and computer algorithms to buy up huge blocks of tickets and then jack up the price so that fans of live entertainers like Mr. Ritchie, I almost called him Mr. Rock, don't have access to concerts the way that they should. And when they do, it's at exorbitantly high prices. So what this executive order does.
So Ritchie wants this done so that the losers who cannot pay the extravagant pricing on the second and third reselling markets can attend his shows.
It charges the FTC and the Department of Justice with rigorously enforcing laws on the books in collaboration with state attorneys general that have power over consumer protection and other people who have the power to really crack down on this issue so that entertainers and fans won't be subject to these abusive and oftentimes illegal practices.
Good.
Okay, now I don't know if this does anything. A lot of people think that when you sign an executive order, it's done. It just happens. Not exactly. And then there are challenges that can be made to an executive order. You see it all the time. I can't think of any reason why this wouldn't be an excellent executive order. I can't think of any reason why states' attorneys general, or attorney generals, what do I say, attorneys general or attorney generals? I don't know. Wouldn't want this to happen. The only people that would probably have a problem with this would be the people who actually make a living buying a bunch of tickets and then reselling them. But I find this to be great. I don't have a problem with any of this. This is all excellent. It just sucks that we had to have these two retards to actually get this fucking done. This is proof positive. All of this here, the fact that Moron 1 and Moron 2 are getting this done. So Kid Rock wrote the bill. and Donald Trump is signing it. What does that say about America? When one dumb fuck is getting this done with the other dumb fuck. What does that say about all the people prior? Holy shit, we're fucked. And then this on the heels of Trump saying, I want another term. He's going to get it somehow if this shit keeps happening. This success is unbelievable.
Thank you very much. Bob, you want to say something?
Yeah, anybody it doesn't matter your politics. First off, thank you, Mr. President, because this has happened at lightning speed. I know you put, I want to make sure Alina Habba gets her credit too, because I know she worked very hard on this, but thank you for making this happen so quick. Anyone who's bought a concert ticket in the last decade, maybe 20 years, no matter what your politics are, knows that it's a conundrum. You buy a ticket for $100, by the time you check out, it's $170. You don't know what you can charge for, but more importantly, these bots. You know, they come in to get all the good tickets to your favorite shows you want to go to, and then they're relisted immediately for sometimes a 400% or 500% markup. And the artists don't see any of that money. And, you know, ultimately, I think this is a great first step. I would love down the road if there would be some legislation that we could actually put a cap on the resale.
Okay, I think this is largely ceremonial at this point.
Of tickets.
I don't think there's a lot here that's going to change because of this. If he's talking about legislation, that's what he wants so that the law can change.
And I'm a capitalist and a deregulation guy, but they've tried this in some places in Europe, and it seems to be the only thing that's us as artists be able to get the tickets into the hands of the fans at the prices we set. I'll be the first one to say, and I know the president doesn't like when I say this, but I'm a little overpaid right now. It's kind of ridiculous. I would rather be, you know, a hero to working class people.
Yeah, I don't know if
and have them be able to come attend my shows and give them.
I think that's bullshit what he just said there, because Kid Rock says I'm overpaid on these ticket prices. I think that's what he's referring to, but it isn't like if somebody buys a ticket for $50 and then he gets a percentage of that, he doesn't get more money, I don't think, when they resell the ticket, right? I mean, does anybody know? I guess I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think that every time that ticket is sold on a secondary market that he gets paid more.
Fair ticket price. I can't control that right now, so hopefully this is a step to really be able to make that happen. I know a lot of artists and a lot of fans who love concerts and music are going to be very appreciative of you taking this step.
I don't know why he doesn't go after, I mean, if this is the case, if he doesn't like the way the secondary ticket market is, wouldn't it make sense then for him to make it so that artists actually make money on the music that they make and not on shows? Because most artists, if they put any material out, the revenue stream of actually buying the music is gone. That whole industry is decimated. Even artists who have a huge audience, like let's say Bruce Springsteen or something like that, or Taylor Swift, the amount of money that those artists make from online streaming is ridiculous. You know, the idea that you could put out new material and actually get paid for it, that's gone. And I would think that would be a bigger problem, but I don't see that that's going to change. I would think that if they were serious about getting the artists compensated for their efforts, that would be as big or bigger of an obstacle into making any money.
Bob is more interested in the fans and the people that are having to pay crazy prices than he is.
Okay, I can't really punch a hole in that. I think he is. I mean, because I can't think of any other reason other than just publicity, and I don't think he really needs it. Say what you will about Kid Rock, but everybody knows who the fuck he is.
He's the artist. Maybe the artist a little bit, but the fans a lot. I've spoken to him over the years about it, and it's been, it bothers him. It bothers a lot of other artists, too. You see, the artists, and they go out with a $100 ticket and it sells for $2,000 the following night. And they seem to be able to sweep up the best locations, too, which is pretty amazing. So
they've only enforced that Bots Act one time, I believe. Yeah. A couple years ago in New York City, I think someone got a $2 million fine.
Trump has no idea. There's also a lot of benefit to when those tickets sell multiple times or at a higher rate. I don't know if states are necessarily going to be really quick to try to shoot this down because they make money on that. Okay, it isn't like whoever's selling the ticket just cashes in. I mean, there's a lot of taxes that goes into that and fees, and there's a lot more than just, all right, they're making a ton of money.
And that's the only time they've enforced that act.
And who's the primary culprit? Who sells these tickets?
It's the scalpers. It's these bots go in and they're automated. So
But is there a company involved?
He doesn't know. He has no idea.
You might not want to
No,
say.
no. Well, there's reselling markets all. Yeah.
I think I know, Peter. But that's all right. Don't get them involved. Maybe they're more innocent than we think. Huh?
Well,
That was all weird.
you think of it, like if Ticketmaster sells a ticket, if you buy a ticket and go to a show, you're in a lot of ways their worst customer. Because they make another 17 whatever percentage every time that ticket resells. So they don't want to enforce the Bots Act necessarily because they're making more money off it. The artists don't see any of that money, but that's not what I'm advocating for, is for me to make more money. I want the fans to have fair ticket prices, be able to go and enjoy more shows. I know people that they decide on a family vacation or going to their favorite concert once a year rather than, my parents used to go see multiple shows when you could afford them back in their day. And I'd like to take my ticket prices lower.
I hate that such a retard is making sense.
But if I set my ticket prices low, these bots
And again, I used to like this guy.
immediately eat them up, and they resell for hundreds of dollars more, and I'm just making these bad actors rich.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a big step to getting it stopped. Do you have something, Brian?
Yeah, I do actually. I actually feel that the consumer is going to take the money that they've saved and actually buy merch, which you guys have a big percentage of, or do concessions, which you guys split with the venue on that as well. So I think their
We
money
don't
goes
share in
first.
concessions a lot.
No?
Those are, we try to, but they don't want to share it in the beer prices and parking or any of that stuff. But the bottom line is there's money for everyone to be made. There's plenty of money to go around. No one's going to really lose here. Ticketmaster, if we can get a cap, they're going to lose some money. But I've already talked to CEO Michael, and he's given me his word. He's on board for it.
I was talking to Jacoby with Papa Roach earlier, and by the way, he's a big fan of what you're doing, President Trump, digging into
Now he's
this
got all these ass kissers who are weighing in.
whole scalping and the bots. A lot of musicians, you can say that, they're with Kid Rock, sir, on
I
this,
think so.
without a doubt.
A lot of people are.
President Trump, would you ever wear a jacket like that?
I don't know. I was thinking about doing it for tomorrow. We have a big event coming up, and I was.
This is embarrassing. But that's the there you go. Bobby wrote the bill, and Trump now signing it. I don't really have a problem with the bill. I don't think it's going to do anything. You're still going to end up paying a whole hell of a lot for tickets. And ultimately, I don't give a shit because I don't like going to shows. Man Bun Chris says, what a big circle jerk. I agree it's good, but my word, they're insufferable. And then he says, it's going to save the world. Yeah, I think there's plenty more to be worried about in the world than this nonsense. Corey says, remember when they gave Zelensky a hard time for wearing all black? Yeah, I saw some folks talking about that too. Christian and I talked about it yesterday. And who are these broadcasters? Yeah, here he is dressed like an idiot. But that's kind of, he's always dressed like an idiot. Maureen echoes it. She says, it seems to me there are bigger things for the president of the United States to worry about in the world. This is a favor, is what this is. This is basically just paying him back for his support. Jeremy writes, a lot of artists barely scrape by doing live shows now, too. After COVID, Live Nation started taking cuts of merchandise sales, which was how artists made money after streaming took off. Nick says, I sold some tickets to a show I couldn't make. I paid an extra fee when I bought them, then another fee to sell them. Then the next person will pay an extra fee. Ticketmaster earned triples fees on all of it. They are the problem. Yeah, and I think Kid Rock fell short of naming Ticketmaster. Bob does not like Taylor Swift, says, wasn't this the reason the rat-faced trailer park skanks ticket prices were so high on her last tour? I don't know. Nick adds, Ticketmaster is the main problem by digitizing everything. They control and get a cut of every resale ticket. Maureen says, I cannot take this seriously with Bob Ritchie in that ridiculous outfit. All right. Anyway, I don't think this is going to change. Just because an executive order was signed doesn't mean you're suddenly going to see some type of savings when you buy your tickets. Before I let the audience on Facebook and YouTube go, you need to know that tomorrow is a Big Fraud Thursday, and we always have a great time on Big Fraud Thursday or Wednesday, whatever day of the week is your Big Fraud Day. That is where in the evening we have more podcasting on Patreon, and usually we do it where it is an episode of Who Are These Free Beers, and then followed up by the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. It's an extra 2.5 hours of weekly content each Big Fraud weekend or week that we do it. And Thursday is no exception. 6 p.m. we will start with the live stream, I should say, of show number 50 of Who Are These Free Beers. You can get it at patreon.com/Eric Zane. Sign up for 7 days free. But one of the things we're going to focus on, I played a clip for you yesterday, and I've got another one here. Totally different topic. Yesterday we talked about how Free Beer cannot pronounce Tom Segura's last name. He calls him Tom Segura. Uriera. Tom Segura. Really, really weird. We also will break down. It's that whole nonsense of everyone who is on the show gets a microphone, and everyone is expected to pick up the football and run with it, even though some of these people do not have the legs to run with it. Dare I say none of them, except for Kelly. Kelly is the only one there that can actually tell a story and be interesting, in my opinion. Everybody else falls flat, is clumsy, doesn't get to the point quick enough, doesn't have anything really interesting happening in their lives. And frankly, if she told all of the things happening in her life, it would be even, she should be doing her own show, in my opinion. As much as she's a pain in my asshole, I think she is the only one that has the talent to do it. Case in point, Mateland. They do this ridiculous segment called Around the Room, where each person has to tell something interesting from their life, I guess. And they do it 3 or 4 times a day, every day. Hi, I'm Free Beer, and my wife sat on my face in front of children, or something like that. I don't know, whatever the fuck it is. That would be actually fantastic if that were true. But Mateland, who, again, I'm sure the nicest person in the world and unbelievable beauty, but zero ability when it comes to broadcasting. Easily, any momentum killer or any type of momentum is killed the second she talks. And I know this sounds like a personal attack, but it's not. It's a professional attack. She is absolutely inadequate and has no business talking on the microphone. And I blame Greg for putting her in front of a microphone and making her do this. It's completely destroying her confidence because it's not getting any better. It's getting worse. And this is what poor Mateland brings to the table. Like, if I were Greg, I would say, Mateland, I want you to tell me what you're thinking about, like off the air. I want you to tell me what you're thinking about talking about, and then say, yeah, I don't know if I would do that. Why don't we do this or whatever? Help her. But he just throws her to the fucking wolves, and this is what you get when that happens. Mateland trying to discuss something interesting.
Good morning, I'm Maitland, and last night I realized there is nothing more luxurious and fun as getting ready in a robe.
Think about this. Think about what that show has achieved over the years with the interesting things that have happened. And to, with a straight face, focus on there's nothing more luxurious than getting ready in a robe.
Good morning, I'm Maitland, and last night I realized there is nothing more luxurious and fun as getting ready in a robe.
There's nothing more fun than getting ready in a robe. Well, I wanted to go on a roller coaster, or I wanted to go see Kid Rock live in concert, but that's fun, but it's not as fun as getting ready in a robe. Now, that is just statement one of how many do I have of this ridiculous moment. 1, 2, there are 3 more clips of Maitland breaking down getting ready while wearing a robe and how luxurious and fun that is. Wow. And again, I blame Greg. Greg is in charge of the show. He has said to her, you have carte blanche. You have the green light when it's your turn on Around the Room. I want you to sizzle. Give us your most interesting thing that's happened. And then these people don't have the ability to do that. That's as mundane. The fact that when it happened, oh my God, I'm getting ready in a robe, she had the thought, this is luxurious and fun. I can't wait to bring this to the air. That's like me describing brushing my teeth. No one has ever done that. And it gets worse. And I cannot wait to sit in front of Ben Glaze virtually when we are doing the show and break that down. Corey says Maitland is boring and sounds like an airhead. My God. He also adds, makes you miss the days of double wrap bread. Well, back in the day, if anybody brought up something about luxurious robe wearing, it would have been all over for you. You'd have been dead. But now Greg's like, yeah, la robe. Luxurious and fun. Tell me more. That's what you have to deal with now on a regular basis on that show. So I want you to go to patreon.com/Eric Zane right now and sign up for 7 days free. That way you will get that show live as it happens. You'll be able to watch it and hear it tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and or listen to the live stream after, or watch a live stream after, or just download the audio. There's so many different options for you on Patreon. It really is spectacular. And that is episode number 50. It's milestone week on the show here, apparently. So you have 49 other episodes to check out there. My God, of Who Are These Free Beers, which that show, I'm told, is my best pitch. Bob says, I say a good show would be Kelly, Hot Wings, and Tommy with his hyperactivity. It could get funny. I would have to be sold on that. You see, the thing is, Hot Wings desperately is kind of drowned out. He doesn't really say much at all when Greg is there. But if Greg's not there, Hot Wings does actually have he focuses more, and he does actually talk more. I can't say if it's any good. I'd have to listen to more of it because he's not that good. Corey says you guys would at least make fun of each other after saying something like that, and it saves the segment. No, they just like, oh, yeah, tell us more about the robe. God damn. All right. So Jeremy writes, hey, guys, I just started using shaving soap instead of aerosol shaving cream. It's a better shave. I'll start my own radio show and get on 50 stations and talk about it. Fuck me. It's so disheartening. I wonder, I would love to be a fly on the wall at these radio stations when the program directors hear this and they're like, wait, what? What are we putting on the air here? Fuck me. All right. So if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, I'm kicking you out. You can also send me a email correspondence anytime you want on the Shoreliner Striping inbox, eric@ericzaneshow.com. That is the easiest way to reach me. And thank you so much. I'm going to kick the rest of you out now. Off you go.